Taurus, happy birthday. Welcome to Carol's Universe, Tarot Readings from the Heart. So we're going to do I think we were going to do the next 2 weeks, 15th to the 31st of May 2020. I'm going to be doing a spread today. So we're looking at 7 areas, week as a whole, something that you can expect that may arise, how to stay grounded and balanced over the next 2 weeks, important emotion that you might feel over the next 2 weeks, something that will inspire you over the next 2 weeks, how your spirit guides will speak to you or the advice that you're going to receive from them in the next 2 weeks, and how best to support yourself in the next 2 weeks. So it's a seven card reading, okay? For the reading, I'm either going to use the This Might Hurt Tarot or the Everyday Enchantment Tarot, my own trimmed deck. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, Taurus, so we've got the spread down, and let's have a look. So the next couple of weeks as a whole, justice. So, I mean, there may for some of you Taurians be some very important decisions that you'll need to focus on making, because that's what justice is. Justice is all about having to make some very fair, balanced decisions, balance both mentally and emotionally at the same time, with the justice energy showing there. For some of you guys, the focus over the next 2 weeks will be about doing the right thing, because justice is about acting in honesty and authenticity. So some of you guys, the focus over the next 2 weeks may be about acting in a very honest and authentic way, doing the right thing, making the right decision, doing the right thing that benefits not just you but everybody else around you. And for some of you guys, it may be that there's something legal here. That's the focus over the next couple of weeks. Something unexpected that might arise for some of you Taurians. Wow, 6 of Wands, victory, recognition. Some of you guys receiving victory, some of you guys it's recognition, some of you guys it's support. So maybe something to do with a job perhaps, who knows? It could be anything, but for example, you may have been for a job interview, or you know, you might have had a job interview over the phone or something like that. I know that a lot of us are in lockdown at the moment. Well, some of you guys might be getting the job, for example, with the 6 of Wands energy. Or, you know, it could be anything. It could be you've asked somebody to be your girlfriend, your boyfriend. They might come back and say yes with the 6 of Wands energy. It might be you were waiting for a check, or you're waiting for money to come through the mail. Money comes, 6 of Wands. Really, all the 6 of Wands is saying is that something that unexpected that may arise is really good. Because with the 6 of Wands, it's saying that this could be something very, very good. This is something victorious. This is something that puts you in the winning seat. This is something that you know, turns out to be really successful. So that's a really good card to get for something unexpected that may arise. How can you stay grounded and balanced over the next couple of weeks? Let's have a look. Oh, now that's an interesting card, because that's anything but being grounded and balanced. Well, it's a funny thing that should show up, because how do we stay grounded and balanced with the 9 of Swords when that card shows up? I think if we just turn it on its head, it's about facing up to your problems. Sometimes what happens with the 9 of Swords is that we get inside our heads and we start really, really worrying and fretting and getting really anxious. It's sleepless nights with the 9 of Swords and that type of thing that happens with the card. This card is anything but being balanced and grounded. But I think with the 9 of Swords, it's to try and put things into perspective. So it's to try and get a bit of a, you know, grounded perspective on the matter. So if you are worrying about anything, you know, what can you do? Go and ask a friend. Go and speak to somebody about the situation if you can. Get it off your chest with the 9 of Swords energy. You have to take some very grounded action when you get a 9 of Swords, because otherwise you're just left worrying about what the situation is. And you actually also, with the 9 of Swords, Taurus, you're left kind of imagining a lot of stuff as well, because that's the 9 of Swords for you. You know, you get worried about a situation, you blow it up out of proportion, and you're just left kind of really, really worrying about, oh my God, what's going to happen here? What if this happens? What if that happens? And so it's just all about the mental. It's all about kind of just imagining the worst with the 9 of Swords. So the best thing probably to do in terms of trying to stay grounded and balanced is, if you are faced with a situation where you're starting to get really anxious and worried and you can't sleep at night, talk to somebody about it, get it off your chest, and get perhaps some grounded advice and another perspective on the matter. Anything that you can do to try and alleviate the situation. What's an important emotion that you'll feel over the next couple of weeks? the Page of Wands. So that's really good, actually. And I think, especially in terms of that Nine of Swords, where for some of you guys, if you are going through a time of real worry, and if there is a need to get things off your chest, and if you are feeling really, really anxious and there's a need to talk about it, an important emotion to feel is a Page of Wands, which is happy, and which is just to feel like whatever will be, will be. Now, to all intents and purposes, the Page of Wands is a little bit of a, he doesn't take too much too seriously. That's one thing that the Page of Wands doesn't do. But sometimes it is important to feel the Page of Wands emotions. Sometimes it is important to try and alleviate worry by just being happy, by just feeling optimistic, by just feeling positive, by just feeling enthusiastic, by just feeling excited about what could be, because that's where you really want to be. If you are, especially, and I think that this card here really kind of connects in with this card here, where we were speaking about how you can stay grounded and balanced. If you're worrying about anything, Taurus, and you need to get things off your chest, which is how you stay grounded and balanced, well, an important emotion to feel is that no matter what this is, Page of Wands would really say, well, this too shall pass, because the Page of Wands tends to look on the brighter side of life. So an important emotion for some of you guys to feel over the next 2 weeks is to feel, just a sense of optimism, positivity, and also just to try and not focus too heavily or too darkly or too intently on what the situation is, but just to allow a little bit of light to come through, even if it means not focusing too much on the situation. I'm not telling you to disregard a situation, but what I am saying is to try and look at the more positive aspect of life and try and look at the situation as, I might be going through this now, but this too will pass. So I think I'm just going to sit down and play my ukulele for a bit. Something that will inspire you over the next couple of weeks. Let's have a look at this one. The Five of Cups energy. So, I think that it really is kind of connecting in with this energy here, because sometimes what happens with the Nine of Swords is that when you get to a place where you're feeling like really at the end of your tether, which it is, because the Nine of Swords is close to completion. So nines represent that you're coming close to completing a cycle. And when you get the Ten of Swords, you're just done on it. It's like, that's it, I'm done. I just can't, I'm done, I'm finished, it's finito, that type of thing. Well, the Nine is kind of like, I'm really up to the wire, I've had enough, I'm coming to a place where I'm just about to go over that edge. Well, I think that when you get that Nine of Swords there, something that should inspire you is, the Five of Cups. So the Five of Cups is saying, well, if you're getting close to the edge here, maybe what inspires you is in terms of the Five of Cups. Maybe some of you guys, the Five of Cups is all about feeling down. It's all about feeling remorse. It's all about feeling sadness and regret. But maybe if you're feeling that, because that card closely connects with the Nine of Swords. So maybe if you're feeling that, maybe if you're feeling really anxious and you're feeling really down, really depressed, maybe you should use these feelings to inspire you, perhaps to turn a corner, perhaps to do something about it. All right, because when you get to the point, and the way that I do these readings is I try and connect the cards together. So I can see here that how to stay grounded and balanced this week. Yes, we do have a fairly negative card, the Nine of Swords. But if you want to stay grounded and balanced, you don't sit in that. So you could sit forever crying and worrying and getting all anxious and never really getting any, because sometimes with the Nine of Swords, it's a case of things aren't actually as bad as you think they are. So you just need to speak to someone, get the lowdown, get the information that you need, and get a more kind of grounded viewpoint of what the situation is, or else you can be making up all sorts of things with the Nine of Swords. Now, if you're looking for something to inspire you, let the sadness, whatever it is that you're feeling, connecting in with the Nine of Swords and that Five of Cups. So you're feeling anxious, you're feeling powerless, you're feeling sad. Let this inspire you to probably go and do something about the situation. All right, because I certainly know that when I'm feeling, low about something, I have to get to a place where I'm feeling so low about it that it just really triggers me to get up and do something, because I'm the type of person that doesn't like to feel powerless, and I certainly don't like feeling really low, because then I just feel out of control. So just allow whatever these energies are here for you, Taurus, allow this to inspire you to get up and take a bit of action. All right, which is, I think, is a very good message. And what is the advice from Spirit over the next 2 weeks? The Knight of Cups. Okay. I just think that some of you guys connecting in with the reading really need to be open about your feelings. I think that you really, really need, I think the advice is be open about your feelings, because that's what the Knight of Cups is. He wears his heart on his sleeves. Okay. He allows his heart to guide him. Okay. Allow your heart to guide you. all right? Be open and be honest about what you're truly feeling. Don't be afraid to offer, to give, to express how you truly feel, okay? Especially with these two cards here showing up here, where we're seeing some worry here. You're needing to ground yourself by speaking about it, and you need to, if you're getting really down in the mire about stuff with the Five of Cups, allow this to inspire you to take some action, okay? Perhaps the action that you need to take, which the universe, the spirit is inviting you to do, it's to open up about it with the Knight of Cups, to express how you've been truly feeling, and don't hold it all in, okay? And finally, how can you best support yourself over the next 2 weeks? The Seven of Cups. You just need to look at what those options are. You need to look at what your options are. You need to look at all the resources that are available around you with the Seven of Cups energy, all right? Look at, you're not confined to doing something in one way. You're not in prison. You have choices with the Seven of Cups energy. So how to best support yourself this week is look at what the resources are that are available to you. Look at what the options are around you. Make a choice, okay, with this Seven of Cups energy. You're not in a prison. There are choices here that you can make, all right? And it's saying that the choices are right in front of you, how you can support yourself. Maybe you can go online. Seven of Cups is going online. Look around online. Look at different ways that you can resolve the situation here, okay? Because I think that really, if we go back to this energy here as well, where we were saying the next 2 weeks as a whole, it is for me with the Justice energy, righting a wrong. It's all about kind of putting things into order, bringing back some balance, all right? So if we looked at the reading as a whole, we could say, well, let's start again. Something that unexpected that may arise. And I think that really, when I look at the reading and it all kind of goes into one, Taurus, really what this is saying is that some of you guys, you may be in the next 2 weeks in a position where you don't expect a good outcome to a situation. But the universe might actually be saying, if we look at all of this in one, it might be saying to you, Taurus, but actually you're going to get a good outcome, because you're not expecting to get a good outcome because you're doing that Nine of Swords and the Five of Cups. So when we looked at, how you can stay grounded and balanced, we've got the Nine of Swords come up. But really what it's saying is, if you're going through a real darkness of the soul, a real darkness of the mind, what you need to do is you need to get grounded and balanced by speaking, by being honest, by opening up about how you feel, by talking to someone who can bring you a more grounded and more kind of, solid perspective on the matter. If something's going to inspire you, or what could inspire you is your own sadness. So if you're going through, dare I say, for some of you guys, depression, sadness, let that inspire you to take some action, because some of you guys are probably going through something and it's getting right up to that wire now, and you're kind of like, I don't know how much more I can take of this I can take. So if you're getting right up to the wire with those energies there, Taurus, well, you need to let it inspire you to take some action here. Okay, an important emotion for you to feel amidst, I think, definitely these energies here is happy, optimistic and positive with the Page of Wands energy. I'm not going to do all the cliches, go back to your inner self, your child, tap into your child and all that. But yeah, I mean, it is. Tap into your child, your inner child. An important emotion for you to feel this week is an emotion of liveliness and an emotion of kind of like abandonment in a way with the Page of Wands energy. It's a child. Children don't feel things intent. Well, they can do, definitely. But what I'm saying is that being an adult, for example, you've got bills to pay, you've got this to do, you've got that to do. And if you've got kids, some parents will definitely shield the children from financial problems and things like that going on. So children do often live in abandonment because they don't know what's going on, and why should they? They shouldn't. They should be allowed to live, a happy, life being a child, where they're just able to go out and play and do the things that they need to do, obviously learning responsibility along the way. But they don't need to be bombarded with what adults are bombarded with. This is, childhood is something you can never get back, so you've got to enjoy it when you're in it. And I think they're saying here an important emotion that you need to feel amidst whatever this is a sense of kind of, happiness and, excitement and enthusiasm, that you're going to turn a corner. Because I think that what you don't expect and what you can't see coming is that you're going to be victorious. You're going to overcome this thing. But I do feel that, you need to, Spirit is saying to you that you need to open up, though. This is really important that you open up. If you keep everything in, nobody knows what you're dealing with, what you're going through. If you're opening up and if you're expressing what's been going on, Taurus, that means that you can get help. And just know that the best way that you can support yourself this week is to look at the resources around you and to look at what options that you have. It doesn't mean, some of you guys have been feeling powerless, but you're not actually powerless. There's actually a lot of options around you. There are a hell of a lot of options. You've just got to examine what they are. Okay. All right. We're going to have a quick look at the spiritual advice for the week through the Psychic Tarot of the Heart by John Holland before we go for the next 2 weeks. So, what is the spiritual advice that you have for Taurus, please? What's the spiritual advice you have for Taurus for the next couple of weeks? 15th to the 31st of May, please. Right, those two cards came out together. You can see that they just fell on my hand. So we'll take those. It says, in order to manifest what you desire, this is the Magician, you've got to believe that you're going to succeed. And it's true. In order to manifest what you want, you've got to believe that you're going to succeed. So, you know, even if you're feeling like this, the Nine of Swords, the way that you start grounding yourself and balancing yourself is to speak, is to talk to someone, because a lot of this is all in your head. And even if you're feeling really down with that Five of Cups, let this inspire you to take action. Okay? Because what could arise is victory showing here. But there's a really important, in order to have this, you've really, the important emotion, because remember, when we're manifesting things, Taurus, the biggest thing that leads to manifestation is your feelings. So there comes the thought, and then there is the feeling. So it's the feeling that the universe is reacting to. So if you want to have success here, your emotion, the important emotion that you've got to have, is one of optimism. If you hang around in this area here, nothing changes. If you open up and talk about things, if you allow the emotions of sadness to inspire you to take action, and you start feeling optimistic that things are going to be okay, that this will too shall pass, that things are going to change, that you're going to succeed, you will, because we can see that the unexpected coming in is, because the unexpected is simply because you don't expect it, but you're going to be victorious here, but you must open up and use the resources around you as well, because you will have victory. This is a week for focusing on how you can restore balance to your world, which you will. But you really have to, if you're going to manifest your heart's desire, you really got to believe that you're going to succeed in this. All right, that is your reading, my darlings. I'd like to say thanks ever so much for joining me on Carol's Universe. If you'd like your own private reading, click on the link in the comments section or the end screen. Take care. Bye-bye.